Yo, what is up? It's been a while since I've done one of these speedrun commentaries. I feel like all my videos lately have been hoplite battle music stuff, which is cool, but it's nice to chillax and just talk for a bit. I don't have anything planned to talk about, so we're just gonna kind of see where my mind goes. It's the new year, which is pretty cool, 2024. I'm gonna have to start remembering to write that on, I don't know. I actually don't really write it that much on checks, I guess. Do you even write dates on checks? I don't know, but I do know one of the coolest things I did for New Year, actually pretty much the only thing cool I did for New Year's, I snowshoed into my cabin for a couple of days, and then I just snowshoed out like yesterday. So I spent my New Year's playing a card game at midnight up at my cabin in the snow. It was kind of cool. I think this is the third time we've snowshoed into the cabin, and it might be the last time because our cabin is like, it's like 7 miles away from a ski resort. And so what we've done is gone to the top of the ski resort and just started snowshoeing towards our cabin. So we're snowshoeing on like the ski resort's land for a little bit. And last year it was a freaking blizzard. Like we couldn't see more than 20 feet in front of us. So nobody at the ski place cared. But this year, it was nice and sunny, blue skies. It was great. But that also meant that the ski patrol saw us walking across their resort. And they weren't a huge fan of that. So they had a snowmobiler come up to us like midway. We're like 80% the way through their land. We're not even actually hiking on their land for that long. And we try to walk on like the side of the trails. So we're not messing with the skiers or anything. Like we went behind the lift. So we're trying to stay out of the way as much as possible. But a guy basically comes up to us and says, hey, management is saying that they want me to take you off of the ski resort. So there was like 7 of us hiking, and this one snowmobiler is like, okay, I think I'm gonna have to take you all out one by one when we are literally 30 feet from the border. I kid you not. My aunt had this like app to see borders of like whose land is whose, so we make sure we're doing things right. And 30 feet away, we run into this issue of, hey, you can't be here. We're gonna take you all the way back. But this is when my aunt comes in as the master negotiator. She doesn't yell. She doesn't tell us to run the extra 30 feet. She talks to the people and manages to work something out. I don't know if we'll be able to do it next year, but they were like, yeah, it's fine. You can go this extra 30 feet because I think one of the biggest things is we weren't planning to walk back this way. Like we didn't park our cars at the top of the ski resort and then hike towards our cabin and then we're gonna hike back. We're hiking in this way and then we hike out on the snowy road, which is totally fine. So it'll be interesting to see if we ever hike in through the ski resort again. It's kind of fun. This year was so much better than last year, dude. It was just actually warm. I wasn't even like wearing a coat most of the time. I said screw snow pants because honestly, I feel like I've worn snow pants too much in my life. They just feel, maybe I just haven't had great snow pants before, but they always feel so restrictive. And I don't know. I kind of hate it. But I thought that was a good learning lesson on how to talk to people, like how to be a proper adult, because my aunt was very polite. And I remember her saying like, if we just run away now, they knew who one of us were, so it's only going to cause issues and like we definitely wouldn't be able to do it next year. So there's a slight chance that maybe next year we'll be able to do it. But if this was the year that it ends, it was a pretty good year to end it off on. Because like I said, it was clear skies. The hiking, it's mostly downhill on the way in. Like it's just hard pressed to ask for better conditions. So there I am, 7 miles later, finally make it to our cabin and I begin the New Year's trip, holiday, whatever you want to call it. I really like our cabin. It's at like the top of a hill overlooking this massive valley and it's a log cabin too, which just makes it feel so much cooler. Like all of the walls, just logs. We got a nice fireplace. There's like a furnace downstairs that we chuck wood into to heat up stuff up. And I'm there with not like all of my extended family and cousins, but like a good half or third of them. Most of which were younger than me. Actually, wait, was I the second? I think I was the second oldest cousin there. Wait, actually, that's kind of weird. My brother was the oldest. So there's all of these little kids running around, and it's kind of funny to watch them interact and like how they talk to people. I remember one time one of my little cousins came up. She was probably like, I think she was 2, and she just like showed me something on her phone, and she's like, look at this. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. She's like, yeah. This is cool. She like walked away. I don't remember exactly, but there's a lot of like funny instances like that. There's honestly only a couple of things I did at the cabin. Number one that I spent the most time doing was reading Harry Potter. I was like sick a week before I went to the cabin, like a little bit before Christmas. I picked up Harry Potter again. Like I've read it before, but I forgot how good the series is, guys. Oh my gosh. and there's 6 books, and they just keep getting better. Like, I forgot how good, like, the 5th book is. I'm on the 6th book right now. No, wait. No, actually, wait, did I finish the 6th book? Yeah, I just finished the 6th book, like, last night. I stayed up till, like, 3 in the morning. It was not good, but I was kind of addicted. Point is, whenever I didn't have anything to do at the cabin, that's kind of what I would do. I would pull up my phone and just start reading. Which is also kind of interesting, because if you pull up your phone at the cabin and you have all these little kids running around, most of the time, they'll come, like, crowd around you because they want to see, like, what's going on the phone. But if you're reading, they don't really care about the words. And so it was interesting to see, like, if there's, like, me and, like, one of my older cousins sitting on the couch. He's, like, watching a video or something I'm reading, like, everybody will, like, flock over to him and leave me reading, which is fine by me. The other big thing that I do at my cabin is play games. A lot of games, specifically card games. My grandpa is super into these 2 games called Hearts and Pinochle. Like, I think it's probably what he played growing up or, like, becoming an adult. And so it's kind of transferred to the rest of the family. It's like the games we play. And I'm more of a fan of the Hearts card game than Pinochle. I mean, Pinochle is still pretty good, but it can just get, like, a little long. So I didn't play that one as much, but I really like board games. I'm a big fan of card games and board games. I get competitive. I like trying to optimize everything. It's just like critical thinking and, like, how can I play the cards to the best of my abilities with these rules. Those are, like, the classic card games, though. Perhaps my favorite card game is one called Nerds, which I don't know how popular these games are. I don't know. Have you guys, like, heard of these before? Do you guys play card games? But this Nerds card game, it's like a big group game. So you can have, like, I don't know, minimum is probably like 4 people, maximum is like, I don't know, 12. And you basically all sit around the table. You each have your own deck of cards. But the main aim of the game is to make these piles in the center of the board bigger. And so as the game progresses, you get a whole bunch of piles in the center and, like, 10 people all around the table smashing their hands into the piles on the center, because you want to be the first person, like, to add onto a pile. Basically, like, you count up from, like, 2 to an ace. So you're trying to, like, find your cards that match a certain pile, and you want to be the first person to get your card there. And I think that's what makes this game so much fun, because it gets chaotic as frick. Just imagine, like, 10 people crowded around this tiny table with a dozen piles in the center, and everybody's trying to snipe their spot onto, like, what pile they can add, because, like, those are points. The amount that you can get on the center of the table are the points. And it also probably helps that I'm pretty good at the game, but I feel like speedrunning has low-key made me better at this game, because it's all being, like, aware of what piles are on the board, what cards you have, and basically where you can play. And then, of course, like, just trying to be, like, lightning quick with your hands. And that was the card game that I was playing when it turned on New Year's. I was actually partnered up with my cousin for one of these. You can, like, play singles or, like, partnered versions. So I partnered up with one of my little cousins who's probably, like, 8, I want to say. I'm not sure. But dude, he was actually kind of cracked, which I knew going in because he also played with another younger cousin, and they like won, dude. It was actually insane. Probably somewhat because they were the only partnered team, and so you have like 2 people as opposed to like everybody else is 1. But also, they're just like good. So I partnered with him on like the last session of the game, because like this last session, everybody was partnered. And we started off pretty slow. We got like -1 points, and you're going to 100 points. The point is, getting -1 is not good. This is not like golf. The hand after that, though, we improved a little bit. We only got like 5 points, but it was an improvement. And the next game, we got like 12 points. The next, we got like 36, which I think is the most points I've ever gotten in the game. We were popping the frick off, and we went from like last place to second or first. I can't remember. Sadly, we didn't win the game, but like we made a pretty good comeback, and honestly, I was proud of that. When the clock finally ticked over to midnight, signifying the new year, I remember there was a lot of discussion on like what people's first words would be. I mean, not a lot of discussion. It was just like an offhand comment. But instead of doing the typical like, woo, happy new year, one of my older cousins was like, guys, what if our first words in the new year are Baba Booey? And so my first word of the new year was Baba Booey. I think that's something like the Minions characters in like Despicable Me say, or I guess they have their own movie like called Minions. So that was my first word of the new year. I know, kind of crazy, kind of cracked. I think it signifies that this is going to be the greatest year of all time. Saying that actually makes me think like about the overall state of Minecraft and like where it's gonna go this year. Because honestly, I don't really know. I don't think I have a ton of opinions, but I've heard people like like where they think Minecraft is gonna go, if it's gonna get more popular or less popular. And I remember I saw like a Dream posted like a short the other day saying like he's gonna post more, and obviously he's like the biggest content creator, so I'm kind of interested to see if he'll make a lot of videos. I think I'm probably gonna keep posting pretty frequently. December, I actually like popped off in terms of how many videos I made. Like it was actually insane. I haven't posted that amount of videos in probably 2 years. I've just felt a lot more free in posting my stuff, and it's like I want to do this for the next like 5 years or something at least, and so it's okay for not every video to do better than the last. And a big important thing is just making sure you show up every day and just like being consistent, which I think is so underrated. Like even when you're talking about exercise, like a lot of people, like pretty much everybody knows how to get like in better shape. Eat less processed food, eat more vegetables, and exercise. And a lot of people will do it for short spans, especially on the new year, because like New Year's resolutions. But what really separates the people who are in shape from the people who aren't is consistency. Doing it day after day, year after year, having it become part of your life and not like a thing. I really like the idea that like when people try and go on diets, you should go on a diet that you can stick to for the rest of your life, not some sort of diet to get you to where you want to be, because I think when people say like the word diet, it implies that they'll go off it at some point. So a bit of a weird tangent, but another thing I wanted to mention is I did a lot of speedrunning the final few days of 2023 because I wanted to get a PB before the end of the year, and I had like 3 good seeds in the past like day of the year that maybe could have PB'd, and I got so close, dude, so close. I can't remember what went wrong with every seed, but honestly, I wasn't super mad because I was just like cooking like I've never cooked before. I was playing phenomenal. The run we're currently watching, I got like 3 runs like this in a day, and I'm like, what the heck? I could have like nearly PB'd like 3 times. And I've also just felt a lot better about like speedrunning in general, because I feel like my expectations for myself have finally matched up with my actual gameplay. I think a lot of the time people are upset with how they perform in a sport or a game because you think you should be better than you are, and that's like been a big thing for me speedrunning. It's like I feel like I should be getting on these paces and I should be getting these good runs, but I'm just not. And it's like that expectation is finally matching reality, where like I'm expecting something for myself and I actually get it. I'm not like expecting more or less than myself. So I'm not sure if it's because my gameplay is actually getting better or if my expectations for myself have gotten lower, but regardless, it's been a lot more enjoyable to speedrun. And so I'm going to keep doing it. Also going to try to keep making these commentary videos. I would make a lot more commentary videos, but a lot of the time I just don't have that much to talk about. A big thing for me is speaking concisely and like getting to the point of the story, which is not good if you want to make like a video longer than 3 minutes. And I don't really want to make a 3-minute video because a speedrun is longer than that. I tried to make one right before Christmas, and I'll kind of sum up the story. Basically, it's just barely turned Christmas Day, and one of my favorite things that I did on Christmas was send people Merry Christmas messages. It was just really nice to let people know that like you care and are thinking about them, especially people that you don't have an excuse to talk with a whole bunch. And so I got a lot of responses back of like Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, but one message in particular that I got was great. Somebody that I don't interact with that often, her name is Bidotter, and she sent me back a message that wasn't just Merry Christmas, but it was a cat gif. And if I can tell you one thing about me, I am a sucker for a good cat gif. Oh my gosh. It's just like the best message you can send. She sent me like a cat Merry Christmas gif. And so I basically sent some sort of messages back explaining like, I love cat gifs. I could have counted the number of gifs I'd sent up to that point on my fingers. It was 2. And she responded being like, what? You've never sent gifs? I was like, yeah, I'm kind of a noob. And so for a couple minutes, she became my gif sensei. I learned about the wonderful worlds of cat gifs. Or GIFs in general, honestly, just like through Discord. There's like a freaking trending tab for GIFs. It's insane. And so if you're watching this, Bidotter, thanks for the fun cat messages. It was really nice to talk to you. And I guess the speedrun's wrapping up here. So thank you all for listening to me rant about cat gifts and cabin trips and ski patrol. I finally managed to talk about something for an entire speedrun, so I don't really know what else to say. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and have a happy new year. Peace.